Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us today. We're going to record another edition of Ask Octopus, where we answer your interesting questions from the day. Joining me today, as always, is Ryan and Derek. How are you guys doing today?
I'm good. Bob.
That's awesome.
So, how are you,
Bob? It's Friday. I'm great. So, this was an interesting question, and this has come up a couple of times. It's how do I restart a failed upgrade? And most of the time, I would say like 99.9% of the time, upgrades go nice and smooth. But every once in a while, I've seen an upgrade fail. Most recently with the addition of spaces, because we're going in and we're making some changes to the underlying file structure with one particular customer that I remember, their upgrade failed because the user performing the upgrade didn't have the ability to create folders. And so it just stopped. And that was a bit of a pain for them. They're like, oh, how do I solve this? I'm like, well, you got to give yourself permissions or give the user permissions, and then you got to restart it. You got to restart it. And then they're like, well, how do I restart it? I'm like, that's a really good question, actually. Have you guys gotten that in the past?
No, I have heard of that issue with the user not having like certain permissions during the upgrade, but I've never tried to start a upgrade over again. That's interesting. I need to see how to do this.
Yeah, I tend to do it, but I tend to roll it back and then jump forward again. And it's funny, I had that earlier on with one of our larger customers earlier on today.
Yeah.
Anybody? Yeah.
So what I want to do is I want to show you guys a couple of things that we have. So first off, before you do an upgrade, I always recommend backing up your database and backing up your file system now. Primarily, it's just that nice level of comfort when you're doing before you do all of that. So this is the this is the upgrade process that I've automated out. And so you'll notice that it puts the server into maintenance mode, and then I stop and drain all the tasks. So basically, like nothing else is running on that server. It's almost impossible. Now it's time to do the backups. Now it's time to do the upgrade itself. But when the upgrade fails, that's when things get a little bit more interesting. So where do you think we store the instance information about the Octopus server? So like I set up a new Octopus instance. So if I go to my Octopus manager, this is my default. Where do you think we store this information?
I'm going to recuse myself because I know the answer from yesterday.
Is this about a file level and registry?
So we used to store it in the registry, but now it has been moved over into the file system itself. So on Windows, it's stored in the program data, that hidden folder that most people don't see. It's stored in program data, Octopus, and then Octopus server, and then instances, and this has a list of all the possible instances. So we made this change, namely to start supporting .NET Core. So that was like one of the first things that we had to change, because before we were storing everything in the registry. If we wanted to start supporting things like running on Linux, then Linux doesn't have that concept of a registry. So we need to store that information somewhere. So if we came in here and were to edit it, there's not a whole lot that's in here. It's just like the name and then the configuration file path. So the nice thing about that is that if you were to say uninstall and reinstall Octopus deploy, the program data, it wouldn't get cleaned up. That information still be there. Your C program, the C Octopus folder that I have out here, that still exists out here as well. So a good way to restart your Octopus deploy upgrade is to just uninstall and reinstall that same MSI, and everything will work for you. It'll start that whole process over again. Another option is for the command line. So if you don't want to go through that pain, you can actually come into the command line itself. And once you do the install, the MSI install, that points the Windows service to the latest version of the executable. But we need to upgrade the database. And so you can run this command line down here. It says database upgrade. And that will go through and that will run all the necessary upgrade scripts for you. But that's really it. So, I mean, those are really the two main ways you can restart that. So I like to do like a little what I call the too long can't remember Um,
I'd like to add one last thing.
oh yeah, go ahead.
I'm obviously, me coming from an ops background, snapshot your VM if you can as well. I know obviously you've got the file system there. I'm just old school. I like a VM snapshot. I definitely recommend that if you can.
So what would a VM snapshot? So if you're storing your file system on a, if you're storing all the HA files on a file share, like on a SAN, and your database is on another server, what would the VM snapshot provide? I'm just kind of curious more than anything.
From that, it's only the items which have changed. So if you're storing things on a NAS, then it's not going to be as useful there.
Okay.
I'm just general from that is, I'd imagine still most customers are running it with local storage, doing backups, etc. So from there, where possible, certainly I can see what you're saying from the file share, but having that VM snapshot is definitely not going to hurt you.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so that would be something that if you're storing everything on the same, if you're storing the files on that server, yes, absolutely, that would make a lot of sense. And also, don't forget to back up your master key before you do the upgrade as well, because you'll have a bad day if you forget that.
Yeah,
and you can do that pretty easily. You can come into the Octopus Manager, and that's your master key right there. I know we've done this a number of times, but I just wanted to show it to you again.
Hit that save button. Hit that save button, Bob.
Oh, there we go. Master key. Bam. And this is I don't even know what instance this is. This is just some local instance that I had running on this VM for a long, long, long time. So you got everyone got the master key to that.
And I got the connection string there too. I got the
integrated security. Yeah, all you got is the server is dot. It's running local. Everything's running locally on this VM. So it is completely isolated.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know why it's I don't know if it's just like a warm blanket. I feel the same as Derek. I back up and then I make backups of my backup just in case.
Amen.
I was like I'm never going to use that second backup, but it's just like just in case somehow it would help and save me from a weekend of pain.
It's just what's happened. What I've done in the past though is I've sometimes this is the benefit of obviously things like infrastructure as code is you don't need that brain. What I've generally you go and do an upgrade on a Friday, your brain has sometimes just exited just temporarily. It does come back. I've done that snapshot, and then what's basically happened is I've backed up the master key after the snapshot. So if you roll back the snapshot, no master key. So just be careful there. Yeah, absolutely. So that's the other thing. If you're unable to get everything going again, that's the restart of the failed upgrade. It continues to fail. Then at that point, then you need to back up your basically restore your database, restore the file system, and then install the older version of Octopus Deploy, the previous version that you had running on that. Don't forget to restore the database, and don't forget to restore the file system. I can't state that enough, because I've seen a couple of customers who forgot to restore the database before installing the the older version of Octopus Deploy, and they didn't have a good day when that happened. So don't forget. One thing, the spaces, only spaces I think has been there is the file level with the packages. Move those back in, because what happened as part of the spaces upgrade was it moved into spaces-1. That's your default space there. I'm gonna lie, this is very, very fresh. This is the only reason why I do this is move it back into the old file structure. That way, this is it. Brilliant.
Yeah. So So what Derek, what you're referring to is prior to Octopus Spaces, prior to 2019. If I went into the packages folder, you would just see this folder, feeds built in, and then you click on this and you could see that. We added spaces inside of there. So if you were to come out now, I'm going to go to my NAS where I have my HA cluster sitting out here. So now each space has its own folder. So that's what tripped up this particular individual when they went to upgrade into the Spaces release to the LTS releases, because they didn't have permissions to create folders like this and then start moving stuff around like that. So that's what tripped him up. All right, cool. Let's get back to this. So back up, and then you can uninstall, reinstall Octopus deploy, or you can use the command line. Either one will work just fine.
Very cool.
All right. Thank you very much, Derek and Ryan, for joining me today. If you guys have an interesting question, not you guys, not you, Derek, and you, Ryan, if the viewers have an interesting question, please submit it to us at hello.octopus.com/askoctopus or email it to us at support@octopus.com. If it's an actual legitimate support question, our support engineers will do their very best to help you and get you going again. And then we'd also love to chat with you. Join us on octopus.com/Slack, and we'd love to chat. So thank you very much, Ryan and Derek, for joining me today.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.